We have Ric Bucher coming in and joining us now, Fox Sports NBA analyst. He's going to probably take shots at my Mavs comments there, but we got a lot to ask him. Rick, how you doing, my man?
Well, I was doing well until I heard that Dallas is going to be the most formidable competition to the Denver Nuggets. But let's have at it, J-Mac, because it wouldn't be a Friday with you if we weren't approaching it that way.
So I'm guessing you're not really feeling that vibe, that Dallas is tinkering now, 20 games left to figure out Gafford and P.J. Washington in their front court. We'll see who they match up with. They're probably going to be in the play-in, but they could sneak to 6. But your thoughts on the Mavs, who have sputtered since the All-Star break?
Yeah, look, I like the moves that they made. I think that they are better, but are they title contenders? One of the reasons why I like them early on is because they were taking a lot off of, or at least some off of Luka's plate. His usage rate was down the lowest it's been essentially since he came into the league. And I believe that that's vital for a guy who is built like him, who is not, when we talk about freakish athletes in the league, he's not one of those. And so they're just too Luka dependent. But everything is tilted back the other way. He's now leading outside of Joel Embiid. He's now leading the league as he has the last few years in usage rate. And it's why his numbers have been so impressive. But in the long run, I don't buy that guys that are built like Luka can carry the rate or the weight that we ask some of these guys. Like if you look at the guys that are sort of stocky, chunky, big bodied for their position and are top 10 in usage rate, they're all hurt. Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. Luka Doncic is the only one who isn't. And based on history, that's something that is just around the corner. So that's why I'm more skeptical about the Dallas Mavericks than anything else. You're right. Kyrie has been on his best behavior. He's played solid. I like the additions, improves them defensively. I just believe that they are too Luka-centric to make a championship run.
Let's blend the Mavericks and Celtics into a question here. I was just looking at 3-point attempts, Rick. Celtics obviously first, Mavs are second. I looked a decade ago in the league. Nobody averaged more than 26 threes a game. Dallas and Boston are over 40 per game. I don't want to say the NBA is broken. I love the 3-pointer, you know me. But I do wonder, have we tilted too far where it's essentially threes, layups, no mid-range, and everybody essentially wants to be built like Boston now, where it's just 5 out, and if you try to switch or help, we're getting a layup or an open 3.
Well, let's face it, it's easier to build a team around 3-point shooters because that's where you're going to find the talent. It's a lot harder to build teams like the Golden State Warriors or the Denver Nuggets where you get those type of versatile players. And so, look, is it our teams going in that direction? I think it's because it's the best choice that they have. Can you win a championship playing that way? We have yet to see it. If you don't have the ability to get to the cup, to create easy buckets, both inside and outside the 3-point arc, then you're not vying for a championship. And that's where I've thought about this a lot since I knew that we were going to get into the Celtics and the Mavs and these different teams at this point in the season where they're going to contend. And the one thing that I came down on is look at the 2-man game of every contending team and how well do they fit together and how seamless are they able to go to whatever the best matchup is. But number one, how well do they fit together? Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. That's almost a match made in heaven. Big man who can both make plays and score. Point guard who can both score and make plays. And then everybody else fits into their roles around them. Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green and Steph Curry. Ideal 2-man game in terms of the way they're able to play off of each other. Anthony Davis and LeBron James. ideal two-man game. When they're both on, they're formidable. And then you go around and you say, well, okay, the Boston Celtics, for all the talent that they have, I'll pose it to you. Who's their two-man game? Who is their two-man game that they go to orchestrate everything for everybody else? Is it Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum? That's kind of duplicative. Oklahoma City Thunder. Who's their two-man game? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren. Kind of young combination. Can't count on that in the postseason. Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert. So I really believe at the heart of whether a team has the capability of playing for a championship is how well that two-man game works. And let's go to the team that's sleeping in the East. And this is the team you should be talking about as a sleeper, not the Dallas Mavericks. The Miami Heat. Oh. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Yeah. It's not ideal, but that's a pretty good combination, two-man combination. And I hate to say it, folks. I hate to steal the thunder, but there's a very good possibility we're looking at another Denver Nugget, Miami Heat.
Let's come on. Wait a minute. Hold on. So now the Miami Heat are taking down Boston. I hope you're not just overreacting to Boston's two losses this week.
I think they've done that once before. Why would they do it again?
No doubt about it. Rick, this Boston team is doing historic stuff. I read an article where some of the numbers match up this Celtics team with the Curry Durant Warriors. That's how dominant this team has been. Now we'll see what happens in the postseason, and I don't think anybody thinks they're that good. But I mean, did you see anything last night in Denver that made you think that they're not going to the finals?
For the Denver Nuggets?
No, for Boston. Like they toe-to-toe on the road with the defending champs. Like I thought they played great.
They did play great, but they couldn't close the deal. And that is, to me, is going to be, they couldn't close the deal against Cleveland. And so I just, look, are they a great team? Yes. Is Jayson Tatum a great player? I don't know if you could get more talent than what the Boston Celtics have. But ultimately, it comes down to your leadership, your coaching, and who is the guy that everything is based on. And is that Jayson Tatum? If it's Jayson Tatum, then I still have my concerns because there's times where he's great. There's times where he delivers in the clutch, but I can't necessarily count on it. And again, it comes down to, if you watch the Denver Nuggets play, you know who's going to have the ball at crunch time, and you know what they're going to try to do. Even Jamal and Jokic, while they share the duties, they're able to seamlessly read who should be going to get it. I don't get any of that seamless reading between Jayson Tatum and any of the other parts. It's sort of, the Celtics look at it as, does Jayson have it going? Is this his night? Oh, it's not. Okay, so who do we go to next? You can't have that uncertainty in playoff games at crunch time. That is the difference maker as much as talent or anything else. And it's the one thing that I have not consistently seen from the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. All right. I'm not going to bring up Tatum's postseason heroics against the Sixers and the Bucks the last couple of years, but I digress.
Well, if you did, then you'd have to bring up the letdowns too. I mean,
nobody's perfect, Rick.
There are times when he delivers.
Him to be perfect in the postseason?
No. I don't expect him to be perfect, but I always expect him to be aggressive. I always expect him to go and try to make it happen. And all too many times, he starts out badly and he's looking for somebody else to get it done. That's the one, whatever you want to say about Kobe, or you can say it about Jokic now. You can say it about Jamal Murray. Like, they're going to go try to get it done. And everybody on their team knows this guy's going to go try to get it done. So whether he makes it or misses, I know that he's taking the shot, or I know that he's making the play. Jayson, you just don't always get that feeling. There's just times where it feels as if he doesn't have it going. He loses his confidence and he becomes passive. And I simply can't have that from my primary player.
Let's get to the Warriors last night. Curry goes down in the final moments. ankle injury. What are you hearing? Do you think they shut him down for a week? Can they afford to do that? The Jazz aren't breathing down their neck. However, having to go on the road to crypto in that play-in 9-10 with the season on the line, Anthony Davis has kind of dominated the Warriors. This is not great for the chef.
No, it's not. And they don't have too many choices. I was at the game and was around the locker room afterward and was hearing that it wasn't that bad. However bad you might have thought it was. Is he going to miss time? Yes, he's going to miss time. The difficulty is, as you pointed out, where they are in the standings and how much they depend on him. And probably third, how much Steph relies on his agility and speed and just being able to run around in order to be Stephen Curry. And so that's the issue. I would not be surprised if they do whatever's necessary to get him right, and conceding that they are going to be in the play-in. The tough thing is if you're in the play-in, you've got to win at least one on a given night, and possibly two, probably two for where they're going to be. Very likely might have to do it on the road. The positive is, I could see a lot of upsets in these playoffs, because we've got some very young teams up top, unproven playoff teams, and we got some old guards in the Lakers and the Warriors in the play-in that ultimately could get matched up in the first round against some of those young teams. And I'm not counting those older teams out at this point against the competition. I don't know that we're going to get both of them, right, but I would expect that one of them is going to be in the postseason.
All right, so Timberwolves lose Karl Anthony Towns. They're making it sound like he could come back for the playoffs. Give me a break. Let's just say he's done for the season. They're not getting – this feels like Memphis last year in the first round, right, losing to the Lakers. Whoever gets out of the play-in is probably taken down Minnesota, assuming they hold on to 2. If they fall to 3, that 6th seed is super coveted. I know Anthony Edwards is awesome, and they've got some good players, but they're not winning a first-round series without Cat.
I wouldn't put it that way. I feel as if they might be better without Cat, and that's not throwing shade at him or how he's played. He's been better this year, outside of that Charlotte travesty where he decided, I'm going to try to go to 60 to try to get a personal career best, and they ended up losing the game, and he got called out for it. For the most part, he's done a nice job of trying to blend in what he wants to do with Anthony Edwards and everybody else. But the reality is Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns sort of play the same role. They're at their best when they're the primary scorer and you're looking to set them up and get them the ball. Now it streamlines everything. Anthony Edwards is that guy, and they're going to go to him a lot more than they even have to this point. And I believe that it clarifies what everybody's role is. And I could see it as a motivator. This is a Minnesota team that they're not the youngest team in the league. They're not as young as Oklahoma City, but they play young a lot. And I could see where not having Towns is actually a motivating factor for everybody to dial in and focus a little bit more and play their best on a more consistent basis. And that's Anthony Edwards too. I heard an interesting thing from a scout the other day that was saying that Edwards is so talented that he tries things out during the course of a game. Let me see if I can bank this 3. Literally is just toying with, I wonder if I can do this. That's all well and good. You're not winning championships if arguably your best player is experimenting with kind of trick shots. Stephen Curry holds that for the warm-ups.
Yes.
He doesn't do that in the games. It sounds like Anthony Edwards still has a little bit of the playful kid in him.
Yeah.
And if the Minnesota Timberwolves really want to play for a championship, they're going to have to excise.
All right, I'd say my hottest take for last. We'll be quick on this one. Hypothetical. Sixers fall to the play-in. They're teetering 6-7 right now. They lose in the play-in. Season over. No Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid looks at the Sixers and says, I go down and this team falls out of the play-in and doesn't make the playoffs? What am I doing here? and Joel Embiid asks out this summer. Rick, what say you?
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I'm not buying it. I think the injury it gives them an out, and it's interesting. It's intriguing, and maybe there's a part of me that hopes that doesn't happen because, come on, Joel, the Sixers have become your team. Tyrese Maxey has evolved. Daryl Morey has shown that he is not shy about continuing to reshuffle his deck. And ultimately, where's he going to go? Like, take a page out of the Damian Lillard book. Damian Lillard was the guy in Portland, had a brand, had an identity, and whatever Portland was going to be, it wasn't going to fall on his shoulders, and he was going to be looked at as the hero. I get the sense that Damian is kind of still looking for his identity in Milwaukee, but it's certainly not at the same level that it was. And I would say the same would happen if Joel Embiid went someplace else. Presumably, if he's going to someplace where he has a better chance of winning a championship, he's going someplace where there's already an established star. And that means that he's now battling for top billing. He already has that in Philadelphia.
Jalen Brunson. Sorry. All right, Ric Bucher, good stuff, Fox Sports. Rick, have a great weekend, man. Talk to you soon.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.